So now we'll discuss about the other topic, that is of layout management or handling layouts without templates, and then what is about model space, and what is paper space, and what are viewports and all. So typically layout management is something that when we are working on a drawing in the model space, that is this space that we are seeing right now, then from there we can create specific viewports so as to display different views of the same drawing. So it means that I can create multiple viewports of this drawing based on our convenience or on based on the requirements. So now we can save and then restore the different viewport configurations that we have created and then edit the model seamlessly. So once the model is complete, then we can use the layout tab, to prepare them for plotting. What we have seen earlier was plotting the entire drawing, but instead we can use this paper space environment. This is the layout environment, so that we can simulate different sheets of paper. So with this, what we can do is we can set up that this is what is going to get exhibited in this plotting setup, so that we can create separate viewport objects in a specific layouts, and then add separate title blocks or something to that layer, and then take that layout for a plotting of paper. So that makes the task all the more simpler, because if it's a simple drawing, then you can use the same model space, export it using the window command and all. But with the paper space, we have a flexibility to control what is going to get printed in the whole drawing. So this is what the overview of the layout management is there. So going in detail, in this model drawing is where we'll actually draw all the drafting that we are requiring to do. So once it is done there, for plotting, it is much more effective to see, because see here you have colorful icons that base for our ease of viewing. We have these many layers and colors that we have used here. But in order to print, how to understand how it will be reflected on the paper. So that's where we will be moving over to the viewports to create in the layout tab. So first thing is we have understood that this is the drawing environment in the model space. So here the model is being sketched on a real world units, that is on a scale that is directly required as it 1:1. Next, we can now move over to the viewports by clicking on this layout tab here. So now you can see that this layout tab, now it zooms out to the entire window and then plots to it. But likewise, if you move on to the layout tab here, you can control how so as you could see initially, both this paper layout tabs are one and the same, because it is just replicating whatever you have in the object. So the first understanding is how to differentiate between a paper space and a model space is that in this layout, in the paper space, you can see that we have an icon, so this is in a layout tab. Whereas in model, we have a XY icon here. So this is the first and foremost difference that we have here. So next, in order to, this is the custom layout that we have. So first, let us go out and see how to create a new layout. So towards that, we have this in the tools menu. In wizards, we have this create layout. So in this create layout, it's where we can go through a wizard based layout creation, that it will guide through the steps that you can do it. So first is the title of this layout, and so let us retain the same title. And next is where you attach a printing setup to the layout that you are creating. So suppose you have a different type of plotters that is already available, then you can attach a unique plotter to a unique layout. So this is the first and major advantage of having different layouts, paper space layouts that you have. So suppose let us go ahead with plotting this as a JPEG, that is as a PNG, an image file. Then you can select that and click on next. So based on the selection of the plotter, the size is also determined. So based on the resolution or the configuration that we select, the dimensions are automatically plotted. As it's an image, it is saying that the dimensions are going to be in pixels. and this is what the dimension of your plotter is. So we'll go with the default one, and now we can control how the view, the orientation of the uh, drawing on the paper is going to be. So right now it is in this format, but as you can see the orientation here, suppose if you click on landscape, this is how it will get printed. The view can be same now, but in printing it will get modified there. So let us go with this. And next is the important part. It's the usage of a title block. So if you have a custom made title block, then you can call those blocks as a part of this drawing and then include that in the drawing. But right now we have already a title block defined in the model space itself. But as you could see in the next couple of moments, you can see that where this title block will actually useful when you're calling it in the paper space. So now let us just proceed without any title block. And next in viewports, this is where we can custom import any viewports that we want to do. But right now, let us proceed with the basic viewport. That is, we are not going to create any viewport. That is a single view alone. Now, then later into the drawing, let's see how we can add different viewports. So we'll click on this none viewport setup and then click on next. You can see that we have skipped one step here in the pick location, because as we have not selected any viewports, it is directly prompting to finish the layout configuration. So once that is done there, the new layout is generated. But as you can see, there is no configuration has been attached to it. That is, the model space is not yet linked to it because we have not created any views. But you can see that as in you are in the layout area, this layout tab has also got introduced here. So now let us go and introduce the different views that we want to do. So one way is doing the preset views that is already there, or let us go and introduce the viewport directly. So that is invoked by the commands viewports, and now you get a dialog box calling for the different views that you have. So this is a single viewport that you can see in preview, and you can also see what is the current view is. So what are the different views that can be mapped to it? Either the current view, this current view refers to the model space view that we have. And again, what is the setup that we have? Right now we are operating on the 2D layout. So we'll go ahead with this 2D. So suppose assume that we have, three layouts and we want it to be displayed in this manner. Then you can see that once you click in here, for three you have left, right, above or below combination or vertical, horizontal combination. So that is how you can create different views. So now let us just go ahead with this three left views and see how it impacts. So now click on OK. And now it is asking for the corners that needs to be specified. So what is the overall views that we want to align? So assuming that this is how, within this is where my three views have to be positioned. So once you click there, you can see that the drawing gets aligned very beautifully into the different views. But right now it's all one and the same. So how different it can be is that, supposing this is the main diagram and you want to zoom a particular part. So now what you have to do is you have to select the view that we want to do by double clicking on. By double clicking on it, you can see that you will enter the the kind of a model editing space. Now you are in the paper space only, but now you can edit the component. So in this editing view, now you can use the zoom functionality. I am now using the cursor and also this interactive ribbons. So now you can see that now I am zooming onto the pairing part in this. So clicking on escape to come out of that function. Now I'm just moving on to here, clicking the left button. Now I'm zooming to this part. And here, let me say I'm just zooming into the bill of material part. So this is how you can customize the viewports that you have aligned. So this is one way of doing it. So the other way, now let us create a dummy layout. Okay, so now where we are creating a new layout, the previous properties of the model space gets applicated. So now what we can do alternatively is that in this major view, because as it is already has a title block, because here you can see that at the end of the zoom view we do not have a title block, so it makes the referencing all the more difficult. So now what we can do is we can create a rectangular entry here wherein we are creating the custom viewport, and now on double clicking on it again you can enter into the creation mode. So now this will serve as a detailing to you. So now you can see that the required view is zoomed to it, but you have to take care of like where you are zooming, because now so now click on the outer space so that you can come out to this part. Now if you want to edit again, now clicking on this, but as you can see now this editing is not up. So you just have to use this lock unlock properties so that you can modify the views that we want to do. By selecting the icon here, you can select what is the zoom ratio also from here. So this is one way of using a detailing view that you want to paste into here. And now once in the editing mode, you can also use the other commands for highlighting the section that you have here as a detail view. So this is one application of using the viewports to create custom detailing for specific printout layers only. So this sums up the viewports and model space and paper space layouts that you have to create custom made plotting made easier. So in this session, we saw a lot on what is printing is all about, how to use the window-based printing, how to base the limit-based printing, and what are the different plotter configurations that we can do, and what are the dimensions that we can control, and how to call those things. And that we focused on a little bit on the plotting and printing part. And then we spent a quite amount of time to view what are macros all about, how to record the steps and then project it out, how to create your own custom macros and then paste it in tool palettes, those kind of exciting things that we have seen. And also we looked into a little bit on the visual a VB editor for this macros. So hope you'd have got a gist out of it. So I would implore you to explore a lot on this macros, because in due course of time, even though it might seem a little bit complex in the beginning, towards the end you will find yourself very comfortable with working around with macros. And again in the next session we'll also look into an added part of it to create our own custom codes. For macros we are looking at only system variables, how we can tweak the system variables, but in the next part we'll see how to use our own functions, create our own commands within the AutoCAD environment. So this macros is a little bit overview of the programming side of AutoCAD that you can use to automate things, automate redundant things that you have are being doing. So next also we looked into the layout management part, where we saw what is all about paper space and then how to create different viewports that are of interest and then attach different printing settings to different layouts. So we looked into usage of both the wizards and also creating a generic layout manually. So with this we conclude week 10 of this course.